My name is Dan Kuhn. I'm a professor of law at the University of Georgia.
I'm David Odell, a professor of law at Mercer University.
I'm Eric Siegel. I've been teaching constitutional law at Georgia State for 16 years.
And Daniel Pyre from John Marshall Law School.
Let me just say I'm not unsympathetic to the possibilities of finding ways to address the interests of unborn fetuses and zygotes, and these are complicated questions. They're extremely important moral questions.
So here's my question for you. If I'm a pro-life legislator and you say this does not get to what I'm trying to do in lessen abortions in Georgia, what statute would you suggest we pass so that it would be a reasonable challenge to Casey and trim back Roe v. Wade even more? Remember, I'm your client, so no matter how you feel, you got to give me good advice.
Each one of you, I say this with all due respect, have taken an oath to uphold the United States Constitution. This amendment is a blatant, flagrant, facial violation of the United States Constitution. And so before we even get to any of the questions, and they're all good ones, and I agree with all of them that have been raised so far, if you vote for this, the Supreme Court has held in Casey, not Roe, in Casey, that states are not allowed to place an undue burden in the way of women seeking abortions. This amendment prevents abortions. There's no gray area. This is not a law professor's trick. I'm not doing any hypotheticals here. This is a flagrant, facial violation of the federal Constitution. My wife is the chair of Planned Parenthood of Georgia. Having said that, that is not, with all due respect, sir, it's not my job to act in contravention to what the Supreme Court says. I disagree with what they do all the time. As a law-abiding citizen of this country, and as an employee of the state of Georgia, for that matter, I have taken an oath to uphold the Constitution as interpreted by the Supreme Court. And if I can give one quick example about this that might hit home. I think I would rather have the people and legislatures decide than unelected federal judges, or frankly, even state judges sometimes. Leaving aside abortion, leaving aside the right to die, leaving aside in vitro, leaving aside all of those issues, it is a terrible precedent, in my opinion, for the Georgia legislature to approve a law that every one of you knows is currently inconsistent with the United States Constitution as interpreted by the United States Supreme Court.